Alrighty, I think I'm live. The microphone green thing is moving up and down as I speak. Alrighty, so managed to find time to jump online today. Been wanting to stream for a couple of nights and kind of update my PowerShell module with PSShlink, right? So that's the goal today. So PSShlink is a PowerShell wrapper module for Shlink's API. And Shlink is a URL shortener. It's a self-hosted tool written in PHP. So this is this PowerShell module that I have that interacts with its API is completely unofficial. I found Shlink and got interested in its API when I moved domain for my blog, cookadam.co.uk to adamcook.io. And I needed a way to kind of preserve some of my rankings in Google, and the way you do that is that you just do 301 redirects on your old URL to your new one. So what I've got here is just a PowerShell module that I put together while I was kind of creating those redirects in an automated way, because I don't know, I had a couple dozen posts, I didn't want to do it manually. And I really like the feature set in Shlink. So I'm just going to jump to my hosted instance of Shlink. Do I have Zoomit here? No, let's get Zoomit, because I feel like I should have Zoomit. I'm just going to search on disk for it. Yeah, I do have it. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is my hosted instance of Shlink that... Why aren't my keyboard shortcuts being sent? Is that because of RD Manager? I really want to use it. You can't see the window that I have open right now, but there is an option here to send my keyboard shortcut commands to the remote host in RD Manager. Local resources, keyboard on remote computer. I might find this annoying. Does that not do it? Do I have to reconnect? Let me reconnect. Maybe I have to reconnect. Yeah, I have to reconnect. Cool. Hey, look, I can use... Anyway, a bit of a rabbit hole. What I wanted to show you was that I just wanted to show you Shlink. So there's two forms to Shlink, actually. There's the web service that you install on a web server or a container, whatever your poison is. And then they also have a separate project for the web client. So this is their GitHub repo. Two pretty big repos here, and one of them is the web client. And I run both. I run the web service, which runs kind of like the whole redirect service. So it kind of listens and responds to certain URIs on domains and stuff, and kind of replies back to the user agent with a 301 or a 302 or whatever. And then they got the web client as well, which is really nice. And this is it. This is the web client. So if I just kind of enter in my stuff, and I can show you what Shlink looks like, because it's quite nice. You might not have a need for a URL shortener, but and generally a lot of the free ones are good, right? That's annoying. Now I've just shared everyone my API key. That is so annoying. Why is that not... Well, now I'm going to have to change my API key. How can I do that quickly? I think I have to SSH in, right? Yeah. Just on a separate screen right now, trying to unfuck my mess that I've just put myself in. Oh, that's annoying. I think I'm gonna come off and fix that. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. I had to disable that API key and then create a new one. I'm really bummed out that that field is not like a hidden password field, but that's always something I've been afraid of when I've been about streaming like this sort of stuff. I always thought I'd be sharing out stuff I didn't want to share, but whatever. It's one of those things. Anyway, Shlink. Shlink is awesome, right? So the web UI's got a lot better, and I actually have a pending update I could probably install, and there might be new features. I haven't really read too many of the release notes for the web client, but 3.4 released 9 days ago. Last one was 17th. That looks like they've fixed. So it looks like there's been... What version am I running of the web client? Does it say 3.2.0? Yeah, I've got a bunch of new things missing, so nice. So Shlink's nice. So here's an overview of all my short URLs. I can see, let me list them all. Oh, it's kind of janky because I've got some long ones with, yeah, see, let me see if I can go to a different page. Oh, that's weird. I don't like that. That's buggy. Whatever. Can I sort by visits? Yeah, I can. So I can see what's the most visited redirect. And it's not surprising that it's a www.cookadam.co.uk, because that's where my WordPress was hosted, I don't know, last year or a year before, whenever I moved over. And it's nice, and you can kind of break down and see, you know, when those visits were. I think you can do it by user agent as well. And you can collect a bunch of other stats about what device or IP and things like that is, but I don't. There's an option at install to kind of not collect that data, so I don't. It's no big deal. Some of the things I use it for is for my profile, my PowerShell profile actually, because in my PowerShell profile, which has now moved to my profile module, is to update and download my profile from from my GitHub, one of my repos in my GitHub. So yeah, I use it for a bunch of things. Anyway, rambling. So the objective today is for PSShlink, the PowerShell module. The objective is to update it to support newer versions of Shlink. So if we go back to the PSShlink, it's currently supported Shlink version is 2.8.0. So that was the last time I edited it. And it looks like I last built it in August. So I haven't touched it in a few months. And there are several new versions available. So 2.9.3 is the latest version. So for a while I was quite active and quite hot on when there was a new release. I get an email because I subscribe to notifications on the repository. I was quite active or reactive to kind of look at breaking changes or new features in their API and go straight into the module to use it, go straight into the module to update it. But I've been pretty slack on it. I've been slacking on it, mainly because of my last two streams that maybe you've seen or probably haven't seen, because reality is no one's watching this, was my build pipeline. I was dragging my feet because I had a very dysfunctional build pipeline. I had a different pipeline with different configuration among different projects, and I was sick of it. And I said to myself, I'm not going to do anything else on any of my projects until I fix that. So now the objective today is also to update Shlink, but also integrate my new kind of pipeline build script and workflow file for GitHub Actions. So it's going to be a bit of unpicking these release notes of Shlink since 2.8.0. So it looks like, how many releases have we got? 2.8.1. So 2.8 was when I last touched it. So anything, I'm going to be looking at the release notes from anything since then. So here's a really good one. In 2.8.1, he affixed the numeric query parameters in long URLs replaced by 0. I'm not sure if that impacts the API or not. No, more like that looks like more of a fix of the service itself. So I don't really know where to start. Maybe I could kind of just add in the build scripts now, I guess. Make that the first step, right? So here in Visual Studio Code, I've quickly pulled in PSShlink. Have I got build tasks in VS Code? I do. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I can do this. Let's I've got an update for VS Code. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, I think I'll update the build sort of stuff first. So guess I'll branch out. Try to be good, right? I don't know. Add Coda Amic build. Do I have Coda Amic build imported? Nope. And what commands do I have for my build module? I can't remember. I think one of the ones I really care about are update build files. So update build files is going to update my invoke.ps1 to a more standard one. So yeah, absolutely, I want that. It's going to update my GitHub Action Workflow YAML file, which absolutely I do need to do. And now that I've done that, I need to disable the current one, which is push.yaml. So I might just rename this to .old or something for now. Did you hear that bike? The bikes on my road are ludicrously loud. Cool. And the next thing it wants to update is contributing.md, so yeah, I guess I don't have that. Why not? Is there anything? Is it quite generic? I can't remember what I wrote in this. It looks to be quite generic. Yeah, okay, cool. And git version.yaml, yeah, I totally need this. Do I have git version installed? Yeah, I do. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I guess I want to make sure that my PSShlink repo has an up-to-date API key for PowerShell Gallery. Last updated last year, so it's probably 7 days away from expiring, so I may as well update that now. Now, 90% sure you're not going to see the API key. Or at least I fucking hope not, because, well, it's not a big deal. I could just recycle it. PSShlink expires in 7 days. Yeah, cool. So regenerate that. I don't think you see it. Do I just get a copy button? I think it's just it's an obscure copy button. That's good. Oh, if I paste it in, you see it, don't you? If I just type text, yeah, you see it. This is where I dip out. Back in the room. Cool. All right, sweet, cool, okay. So I guess that's pretty much it. So I want to add a changelog item, right? So, oh, have I got an unreleased? I have. Corrected object reference to API URL attempted in error record. What? Update push. What was the text of it again? Corrected object reference to API URL attempted in error record. Why is that in the unreleased section? And that's not really relevant to anything I did in October 10th. Or was this it? What was the corrected object reference to API URL? Oh, another thing I need to do, this is completely going off on a tangent. So in this Invoke Shlink REST method, I use this this thing here. What's going on? Why is this? Let me browse the file and show you real quick. I use this thing to kind of securely handle API key strings in air quotes memory. So when I set this up, I remember, so the user has to give each command a API key, and I'm pretty sure that's a secure string type, and I need to decode that into a string to include in the header when I use invoke REST method. And I use this class, which I remember reading about being a secure way to kind of handle sensitive strings in memory. But the issue here is that this doesn't work so well in PowerShell 7. I don't think it works at all. At least it doesn't work in Azure Functions, because I remember doing a different project for work, which I actually have on GitHub, called PS Front. So I remember trying to use it in an Azure function, and yeah, it didn't like it. So that's something else I need to do. In fact, I might just not worry too much about the existence of strings decoded from secure string to string. Yeah, I might just get the user to I might still get the user to give the functions a secure string, but that'll be it. Try and get the clear text from there, and that's it. Don't do any more than that. I don't think I've seen anyone do anything particularly more fancy than that. If anybody watches or watching who knows a decent way to kind of handle the clear text string decoded from secure string, if there's an ideal way beyond just getting the clear text string, that'd be ideal. But yeah, I remember Googling it at the time when I set this up, and this seems to work pretty well on Windows PowerShell. But yeah, it's a no-go on Linux, I think. I think that's it. I think it works well in 7, but it's on Linux. Or is it? Do you know what? I can't remember. Do you know what? I'm half tempted just to try it real now. Let me install PSShlink and just quickly use it. Let's do that. Let's install PSShlink. And I'm using 7 now, right? 7.13. I might update it real quick. You can get it from the store now. I might do that. Let me uninstall what I've got. I think I need to kill PowerShell. I don't have PowerShell VS Code open. Yeah, let's get rid of that. It'd be so much nicer if it came from the store. So I don't have to update it. I'm pretty sure it works well on PowerShell 7, but this is what I want to test real quick. From what I remember of trying to use that class, I've closed it now, have I? Trying to use that class, I'm pretty sure in an action function, what happened was that it did decode it fine, but it only gave me like the first 2 characters or something. I can't really remember. It was a little while ago now. Okay, cool. So that's installed. All right. Okay. Did I install PSShlink? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So something I really like about what I did with PSShlink was, so let's look at all the commands. What I really like about it is that you only need to pass a command of the module, the API key, once, and then it is remembered and held in memory throughout that PowerShell session. So for instance, if I do get Shlink URL and I have to tell it my Shlink server, so then I would do https acook.io, and then I would do Shlink API key. Now I have a secure Shlink password. Yes, cool. Now that command or function just got all of the short URLs from my Shlink server. And if I were to use a different one, so get Shlink tags, I no longer have to tell it the Shlink server or the API key. It remembers it, and you can totally just call those parameters again to work with a different instance, provide a different key, and then that key is then remembered thereafter. So that was a nice little bit of support I added into the module that made working with the module a lot easier and a lot nicer. It did involve a bit of mess in the begin block, a little bit. So you kind of have to check the connection to see if one exists, and check if those variables of API key and Shlink server already exist. And if it, yeah, this is it. It's a bit janky to work out if the user has already given one or not. To work out if the user has already previously executed a command with those parameters, i.e. defined those script scope or module scope variables, and if they haven't, prompt, or if they previously have and they've given them again, an overwrite. So there's a bit of convoluted mess going on here, trying to understand that, trying to engineer that user experience. But what's nice is that, let me just kind of close this. RDP does this, I don't know why. So if I import PSShlink again, and if I call get Shlink tags, it will ask me, hey, what's your server? and then you could throw in your API key. Now, is that asterisked out? Yeah, it is. So I can just paste that from my previous clipboard. And then that's it. You can just use them further on out. So yeah, there's a bunch of really cool commands here in this module. Makes working with like a self-hosted thing really, really easy. One of the things I don't really like too much about the module at the moment, I will get onto actually updating in a minute, I just want to talk a little bit. One of the things I don't like about it is that because Shlink is updated so frequently and the frequently breaking changes or fixes are implemented into the API, I have to kind of pin versions of the module for support of Shlink. So what I mean is if I go into my previous releases of PSShlink, I can see that release 070 supports at a minimum 280 and if I of Shlink, and if I go down to 060 minimum version of Shlink then becomes 270, and what I don't like is managing that and easily communicating it. So in terms of easily communicating it to users of the module is maybe trying to track my version numbers with Shlink. Maybe, yeah, because if they see it's the same version number, maybe you think, oh, okay, it's clear. But then again, I don't really, I want to emphasize that this is not in any way kind of an official module written by the developer of Shlink. Like, it doesn't endorse it in any way. And I want to keep things separate. I want to keep things clean. And I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to support multiple versions. I think the way I'm doing it now is probably simplest for me, and hopefully it's simpler to understand. And I also put it in the README as well by saying, hey, you must have, in the requirements section. Maybe this is something I can also automate as well. So every time I update Shlink, I have to update and indicate what's the minimum version of Shlink that you need in order to use the latest version of the module. And then I kind of put a note here saying, hey, if you run older versions of Shlink, check out the release notes and you can kind of pull in a specific package version of PSShlink. Yeah. Cool. So, pretty sure I got all the build sort of components together now. I don't think I need to do anything. No, I don't think I need to do anything. So I could commit and merge that into main, I guess, right? So this will bring me up to 076. Oh, I remember. I was down a rabbit hole on the changelog. There's an unreleased note here. Corrected object reference to API URL attempted in error record. Yeah, that was before I went down the rabbit hole when I found that class for the API key. So I have a note in here about update changelog. Was it that? Yeah. So was it in here I made a change? Yes, it was. It was this. So this is in Invoke PSShlink and... Oh, okay. Yeah. So in the private function of Invoke Shlink REST method, if an exception is thrown from the web service, I try and provide back appropriate exception objects or error records back to the user. And I had a typo in a couple where URL parameter was used in this splat instead of URI. From this hash table rather than splat, because one of the, I think the error ID, no, that's error ID. Oh, this is the working object of the error record, so I wanted to pass in the URI. So did I release this? That's the catch, right? So did I build with that? So it looks like I committed the fix and then updated the changelog. And then at the time I updated the workflow to allow a manual invocation, but I don't think I actually built with it. No, I didn't. So it looks like these runs of the build pipeline did not start. Why? What's going on in my old pipeline YAML file? Oh, the commit message has to contain ship it. So it looks like I added the fix, but I never shipped it. Well, that's fine, because it wasn't really impacting the functionality of the module. It was purely a sort of completeness in the error record for the user if they cared that much. Most don't really, but okay, cool. All right, sweet. So I can work as I am then. That's cool. So I need to add changelog data type. What type is this? Added, changed, deprecated, fixed, removed. I guess added, right? Data, improved build pipeline to use coda.amic.build. I guess it's a link, right? Ah. Cool. All right. Major, minor, patch. That's a default, right? Yeah. So if I commit this, I'm expecting this to go to 076, but metadata 1, and when I merge it, I anticipate it to go 077. Yeah, here we go. And now if I... So what branch is this? This is add coda.amic build. Put that on my clipboard. Git checkout main, git merge. No, fast forward. So that's 071. Oh, okay. And merging this, I anticipate 072? 076, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still getting to grips with Git version. Cool. So this merge gives new changelog. Yep, that all makes sense. That all makes sense. Now I don't want to push and build this yet. Now I want to add support for the latest version of Shlink. So now it's a case of going through the process of reading the release notes of Shlink, and then kind of going from there, really. Yeah. I don't know. There's two ways I can go about this. I can literally just... I can... So my server's running 280. I can literally just jump straight ahead and add support for 293. Or I can build for each kind of breaking change or fix there has been to Shlink since then. So for instance, if I have support for 280 and I then added support for 290, made a build for that, and then added a build for 292 if there was such an API fix there, I don't know, but that would be quite a bit of effort, because I would have to update my Shlink server for testing as well, possibly 2 or 3 times, or I could just update it once and be done with it. Well, let's read the release notes. Let's see what we got. Okay, so 281, fixed numeric query params and long URLs replaced by 0. I don't think that was an API fix. 290 was a big change. That's 10th of October. Shlink now accepts configuration via environment variables, even when not using Docker. So that's not relevant. I think that's due to the setup. You could set environment variables that controlled what your config of Shlink is. Allowed to set custom defaults for the QR codes. Currently, QR codes has some sensitive hard-coded default options, format, size, etc. If one wants to overwrite those, the URL needs to receive new values as query parameters. Allow defining custom defaults via configuration that would be used instead of hard-coded defaults if not provided via query params. So are you suggesting that the idea is to recreate the QR code if one already exists by passing it different parameters? So I'm interested in this one because I do have a public function in the module to create a QR code, save Shlink QR code. It's quite nice. So if I were to import PSShlink again, get Shlink URL, shortcode. So if I just look for one that I'm pretty sure I know exists, cool. And then you can literally pipe that to save Shlink URL shortcode, and you can give it a bunch of parameters like where you want it to go. What else have we got? The size. Can't remember how the size worked. Specify the pixel width. Cool. I don't know. 999. Format? What's format? Specify whether you would like QR code to be PNG or SVG. Was that a validate set type deal? Yeah, it was. Cool. Margin? What's margin? Oh, I think that was like padding, right? Specify the amount of white space around the QR code if omitted the default is 10. So, I don't know, let's add 99 to 10% width. And error actions, that's all the parameters available. So if I then go to my downloads directory, I should have a bunch of crap here that I don't want anymore, but also the QR code. That's quite nice, I like that. So what's the proposal then? Because what's the proposed change? Because I can recreate this 6 ways from Sunday, right? So I can just say 500, then the image changes. I know we create a new file with, I remember now, yeah, I wanted to be quite conscientious of the file names and overwriting and stuff. So what's the proposed change? I think he's just saying there are hard-coded defaults if you do not provide those values. And I think I actually, yeah, I have those defaults. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. The API had hard-coded defaults, 300 for the size, and I carried that as a default value into the module as well, and the same for margin. And now he's just saying he's allowing you to configure defaults rather than having to. Yeah, okay. I don't think that's a thing of the API. I could probably remove those default values, to be fair. Yeah, I could. It's probably not a bad idea. If now the option is to allow the user to add default sizes of their QR codes in the server, in the Shlink server, and you were using the command or the function that I have, save Shlink QR code, you would kind of expect it to use these servers defaults rather than the default parameters. So I should probably remove those now. Yeah, okay, cool. So let me branch out here. add support for support 2.9. Ooh. I want to be careful about putting version numbers in branch names because I feel like if I merge in, then that will kind of trump the version of Git version uses to infer the next version on the main branch. Okay, so fix, remove default. Values, save, Shlink. This could be such a ridiculous brand. Save, Shlink, QR code. I'm not new to what's going on. Oh, I'm not in the okay. I'm not new to Git, it's just I've never really done it properly. So I guess in some ways, in that way, I am new to it, right? In some ways. Okay, so there is actually a decent sort of web page for Shlink's API. There's a really good sort of spec doc. Somewhere. Here. Alright. I think I get to choose the version. No? Yeah, 293. Here we go. So now, for the QR code, what endpoint does that use? QR code. I've probably gone past it. I'm just going to search for it. Oh, it's right here. So, oh no, there's a default value still in the API. That's interesting. That's interesting. There are still default values in the API. Is that true, or is that just old docs? I can throw in my Shlink server here and do a quick test. Is that starred out? Nope. Okay, well, be right back. I'm back. So if I now do try it out, if I say create this, size, remove the values, what does it give me? I have to give it HTTPS. Weird, I entered that in there. Hang on. Ooh, look, it's an error correction. Do I have an error correction parameter? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. All right, well, if the API by documentation still has default values, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. maybe I should. Okay, let's craft it manually. Let's do it manually. Now the problem with crafting these URLs manually is that it's going to involve using my API key again, unless I define a splat within a variable and I just reference that. Yeah, I think I can do that. I think an easiest way might be to put this Invoke Shlink REST method in my session now and work with that. And then the API key. Oh no, I could work with this. Yeah, I can work with this. Yeah, and then you don't have to see secure string, then you don't have to see my key. Okay, cool. So invoke Shlink REST method. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to understand, in fact, first, before I even test this, I need to update my Shlink server to a new version. But what I want to do is test if the creation of the QR codes now still of course it'll have a default value, but the point here is that it'll be configurable. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I need to change anything. No, I do think I need to change something. Yeah, because if we want the user to assume they're going to get their default QR code size, we don't want to specify anything, but I seem to remember there being a reason why we do this. So where does that setting live? Okay, I'm going to update Shlink. Let's do that. Oh, I need to set up my SSH config. Am I signed into OneDrive here? What OneDrive is this? Which account is this? I think this is, yeah, I need to add a different account. Oh, more setup. So I want to SSH to my Shlink server and update it real quick, which is actually really simple. But I want to do that on stream. I want to share that. I don't want there to be no interaction here. Office 365. Just in my password manager, grabbing my password. Cool. So the reason why I'm signing into OneDrive is because I have an SSH config in my documents folder that I want to copy onto this host. Did I just sign into OneDrive? Did I not do it properly? Probably not. Oh yeah, I think I didn't do this. I didn't choose my OneDrive folder. Yep. Files on demand. Yep, cool, great. Now I'll get that later. Why is OneDrive so long? Here we go. SSH. So I did have a config file in here. Not anymore. Maybe it's still downloading. Yeah, there we go. And there's some keys missing as well. Here we go. It was this key, isn't it? No, it's not in this directory, it's in this directory. Just copy this here. Now I should be able to SSH into my Shlink server. Right? Yeah. Let's try. Yay! Need to rename that key. It's not the same host. Just copied the key over. So I got some system updates I'm just going to do real quick. And then, so updating Shlink is super simple. Just because it's a PHP app, it's just a case of downloading the zip for the latest version and just replacing those files on your web server. Pretty much, I'm running it kind of classically with, you know, Nginx and PHP rather than like a container or anything like that. So it's just gonna be a case of dropping those new files in, and there's a nice little binary you can call to update Shlink. Which kind of updates the database schema and kind of, I don't know, anything else that's relevant, I guess. But I suspect the main thing of the update binary to call to update it is predominantly because maybe the database schema. Maybe other bits too. Is a reboot needed? Nope. Cool. So I guess I'll just go to where Shlink is in my web server. So I'm literally just going to move Shlink to shlink.old and download the zip of the latest version into this directory. Unzip Shlink 293. Do I not have unzip installed? Windows has this super annoying sound when you do something wrong, so I'm just going to turn off all Windows sounds. You can't hear it, but I can. Every time you hit tab complete in the terminal, it's just like no thank you. Shlink, cool. What do we have inside Shlink? Cool, all the stuff, excellent. So I'm just going to remove the zip file and go into Shlink, and I think it's in the bin directory. I think I have to change ownership of everything. No, it's all root. Yeah, so change ownership recursively to the web server service account. And if I go into Shlink and look at everything that's owned, yep, cool, and go in the bin, and I just execute update, I think. Yeah, cool. So do you want to import the configuration from the previous installation? Yes, and I have to tell it where it is. Shlink.old, I think it's .old, not -old. Yeah, .old. Oh, okay, that's the new feature. You can, looks like this feature is talking about provide a list of IPs or range of IPs where you want tracking to be disabled. Oh, here we go. This is that new feature that I'm actually talking about. What's the default size in pixels you want your QR codes to have? That's cool. I'm going to set mine to something different, small, something like... No, let's go big. Let's go 1,000. What's the default margin? Let's do 10%. Let's do 100. and then we'll do PNG. What's the default error correction? Low, I guess. That's cool. Okay. And then that should be it. Like, Shlink should be working. Should I refresh? Yes, it's still working. Nice. That's smooth. And do you know what? While I'm here, while I'm logged into the server, I'm just going to update the web UI for it as well. And the process for updating the web UI is very, very similar. This is a massive tangent alert because I was going through reading release notes and now I'm updating the software on the server. But this is all part of like developing this module, right? So this is all part of it. Like, if I want to support newer versions of Shlink, I have to kind of update my server where I can write and develop against. And then eventually when I write tests for it, which I haven't done, I could use that server for testing. So yeah, let's grab that. It's just exact same process again. It's just grabbing the zip, chopping and changing it out of the web directory. So I'm just going to move Shlink to a different folder. The web client, at least, that's a different sort of endpoint on the web server that's hosted. And then I just download the new zip for it. I unzip it. What have I got now? Move Shlink. I want to rename it. What was it? Shlink-web client. Now I want to remove zip file. I think I have to change ownership again. It's going to be me as root. I'm logged in as root right now. And that should be it. I don't need to do anything more. I don't need to bounce services. This should now be, yeah, 241 and then server 293. That is super simple. 293, 2341. Yeah, nice, cool, awesome. So now I can test. So if I use the API to get a shortcode, it should just give me my server's default QR code sizes. So I shouldn't need to do anything more. I don't need to be logged into the server anymore. Okay. So invoke Shlink REST method. So that's get. I think I have to import my module profile module, whatever. Invoke Shlink REST method server. Okay, server. API key get secure Shlink password method. Oh, what is the method for it? Let's look at the docs. It's a get method. The endpoint is, I think it's shortcode, then QR code. So the endpoint I need to query against the server is the shortcode. So do profile now, because that's the name of the shortcode I'm using. I've closed the link to the browser, but yeah, the profile is the one I'm going to use. Profile and then QR code. Cool. And then what else do we want to know? Path? I guess that could have been it, right? Doesn't really matter, I think. Query. I don't think there's a query string. Oh no, there is a query string. Parameters. Shortcode. Oh, I have to build a query string. I forgot about that. Can I just give it a string? Like literally a string? No, it has to be a query string collection. That's annoying. No big deal. Alrighty. Oh, I didn't put that in a query string. So query string, add a value. What do I need to give it? shortcode, right? Wait, what? Oh no, that's part of the path. Yeah, do you know what I was going to say? I was going to say, why is the shortcode passed in the query string and also in the URI? But it's not, because it's part of the path here. You can see that. These bits are part of the query string, the size, the format, and these are the things I set server defaults for, the size, the format, and the margins. So I guess, oh, and the error correction. Did I give it? I think I did all four, right? I've closed the window now. I think I did size, format, margin, and error correction. So in theory is that I don't need to pass it anything else. I don't need to give it any query string. In theory, no, I don't. So this should, in theory, literally be all I need. I don't need a query string, and that's not a mandatory parameter. I don't need a body. Oh, property tree, yeah. Paging. Where do I handle paging? I think I handle it within, right? It's like a recursive call on itself. No, I don't. Do invoke rest method. Do while pagination data. Current page is not equal to page count, and page count is not equal to 0. So I need a property tree, but I know what the property tree is from within the public function. Oh, looks. Oh no, of course, no, there isn't, because the output is image type. It's media. Yeah, that's right. So cannot get. Why not? And why are you screaming at me? What's that all about? V2, is that right? Everything's V2, right? Is it? There's one there. Oh, that might be why it doesn't work. Look at that. Computed URL. Is it actually V2? I think I hard code it, don't I? Yeah, V2. Look, the URI and the splat for the parameters passed to invoke rest method. I hard code it to be V2. Maybe I need to improve that. I can do that down the line. I got PS type name. Oh yeah, I need to improve this as well. I remember now. I need to take a bio break. I'll be right back. Alrighty, back. Yeah, why can't I, cannot get? Is there a get error? Yeah, there is. What is it? 404. Really? Are you saying I don't? Oh, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I don't need to pass the version. Literally just the shortcode. So how do I get out that? How do I not pass the version? How do I handle that in PSShlink? How do I handle that in the function? Oh, I don't. In PSShlink URL QR code function, I don't use the internal function Invoke Shlink rest method. I call invoke rest method purely because of that. I remember now. Yeah, because if you look at the docs here for the API, we don't pass in a version number of the API as opposed to some of the other endpoints that you might use. For example, when you're getting the number of visits, use the REST endpoint. As part of the path, you give it the API version, and then the final part of the path is the visits, the bit you want to get. So yeah, that's not applicable here for the QR code. So yeah, I'm just going to have to do what I was doing, but with invoke rest method, which isn't a big deal, I don't think. Can I still do it without showing you my key again? Which reminds me, I need to update my password manager with my new key. Before I forget, because I know I will. Okay, there we go. URL. So I think it's just a quick profile QR code, right? Yep. And then headers. Oh, is it X API key? Pretty sure. And then I give it the. Oh, I have to convert secure string to string. Convert from secure string. Get secure link password property. That should be it. And what else do I want to give it? Content type is image stroke PNG. Oh, that's a good point. If I remember now why I set defaults on the function PSShlink URL QR code, because of this content type. I think I have to pass content type to indicate whether it's PNG or SVG when I'm using the invoke rest method. When I'm making that call, I think I have to indicate the content type. And the only way to know that is to know the format. And if I'm wanting a user experience of the user to use whatever the server offers up, how can I pass it? I can't. The content type. I have to. What happens if I do it without specifying content type? Does it work? Okay, what else have I got? Out file. I need out file. Yeah, I guess I can do it in home downloads, I guess. Yeah, and then QR code.png. Right. And I think that's all I need. Yeah, that's literally all I need. I don't think I... Got a shout out to Chris Dent here, that's cool. Don't remember that. Chris Dent's helped me out so much in Discord, it's ludicrous. Okay, so this should work. Holy shit, it works. QR code. So I guess the question is, what is its size? Is it 1,000 pixels? 1,200 pixels. That's bigger than the config I set. That's funny. Really? Can I configure Shlink in those configurations in the web UI? This app has been updated. Restart now. Ooh. Nice. Okay. No, I don't think I can configure that shortcode stuff. I that you can add managed domains. That's really cool. Nice. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I don't think I can configure the QR code stuff in here. I was just expecting it to be 1,000 wide, that's all. But the good news is that I don't actually need to specify content type. No, I do not. Oh, but I do. I need to specify content type for the file name because I use out path, right? So out file, how do I know what the format is? I don't. That's a bummer. This is a bit of a bummer. Okay, so how about this? I remove the defaults for size, margin, and error correction. Let those get picked up by the service, but keep a parameter default in the PowerShell module for format, largely for the file name. I need to know the file type when I outfile. So that means I can remove content type, which is quite nice. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Oh no. Okay, so size is used in the file name too, and that was, fuck's sake. Size was used in the file name because, do I still have this? Yes, so that was to really kind of help people generate multiple without fear of clobbering the current file type, but I guess maybe that might be a reason to add in should process stuff. You know, if the file already exists, set the impact to high. Is an impact defined in the function? I've only added support for should process once. That was in this one. I think I have it in one of the remove ones, remove DP content. Yeah, the impact is set for the function, it's not really set dynamically. And then it's kind of asked here. This should process stuff. Well, I could always use should process only if the file exists, so I could add an additional condition. Outside of that, it's just more work for something so trivial. I could keep as it is, but I just feel like people, if you set a server-side default of your QR codes, I feel like the function should generate QR codes with those and not from the defaults in the PowerShell function. I'm a big believer of that kind of user experience. Pick up defaults from the server, and then you'll just be confused otherwise, right? If you know you've configured Shlink to do X and then you kind of use this function, it generates something else. Different size, different format and such. Different margin, different error correction level. It's just a bummer because size was used in the file name. So I guess I could remove size from the file name structure. And what would we have? Shlink QR code, the short code, and then a domain. I think that bit's the domain. Let's have a quick look in the string format bit. Yeah, domain. And then size and format. Yeah, okay. So let's remove the let's just do it. Let's remove the default size, margin, and error correction. And now I have to add in a bunch of things like if the user has given us size, then add to query string. If the user has given us margin, then add to query string. How have I handled that before? There's a couple of ways I normally do that in terms of styling. It's not there. Is it set Shlink URL? Yeah, PS bound parameters keys. This is how I've done it before. So loop over all the keys in PS bound parameters. And then if it matches, do the thing. That works here, right? So PS bound parameters, if the user has given size, use that, margin, use that, error correction, use that. And it looks like within this begin block, we've got something else going on. What have we got going on? Doing another call to get Shlink URL. That's if we're not using via pipeline. So this checks to see if the URL exists first. And then we moan if it doesn't. And then we populate the domain property. And if it's blank, we put in the domain of the Shlink server, because the assumption is if it's blank, it's using the default one, and the one the user is given is the default one, probably the default domain. Because again, Shlink can support multiple domains. It can create short links for multiple domains, all on the same web server. Okay, yeah, cool. So then switch PS bound parameters, loop over all the keys, and then if we're dealing with format, oh no, we're keeping format as a parameter with a default value. Yeah, I don't think there's any way around that. Actually, we can remove the default value but make it a mandatory parameter. That way the user is still in control of which they produce. Probably a better user experience again, because if they've set a default on their server, then you don't want them to expect that default to be true in this function. We need them to intervene and say, hey, actually, you know, we can use the server default for everything else, but the format for the purpose of creating the file. Well, it depends. Surely we get a response back from the web server, right? That tells us the file name. So if I remove out file, what do we get? A bunch of gumph, but is there any other properties here? Do we need to? Like, is there like a response from the web server telling us, what do we get back? Just a string. I feel like invoke rest method might obfuscate some of that. If we use invoke web request, might tell us a little bit more about the response from the web server. I think all these headers, yeah, that looks to be fine. Yeah. In the headers, do we get told what the file type is? We do. We do. Yeah, this could get better. So, and this isn't so bad. I can actually use invoke web request just for Shlink this save Shlink QR code, because we already do an abnormal thing of using invoke rest method, not the internal private function to make the API call. Yeah, I could totally do that. And then from the response, determine what the file type should be. But the problem is, the problem there is I have to make the call, read the headers, get the content type of the header. Does the header change if I use a different? What's the format? I think I can just say question mark SVG, right? Yeah, see the content type when I use is a different one. The catch is if I do the invoke web request, I then have to make the call, read the content type, then output the raw data, write the raw data to a file. So it's a little bit more involved. So how do I get the raw data? And is that like just a simple case of being able to write somehow to disk with that? So raw content. So if I look at content, okay, it's just a bunch of XML. Oh, SVG is just XML. That makes sense because the content type does suggest it's part of XML. Look. So what does this property look like with PNG? I bet it's a bunch of garble, right? So if I remove that and then look at content, bunch of noise. What's that? Content? What's raw content like? Yeah, a bunch of noise. Interesting signature. PNG. Are these properties or is this all string? This is string. So content must be a byte array. Yeah, it is. So can I write with a byte array? Hopefully with just set content. I doubt it. Let's find out. I feel like I have to use the IO stream writer thing in .NET. Yeah. Oh, values object here. That's interesting. Look at that. Where's the value parameter? Here we go. Just byte. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try it. So content. It's just a byte stream. I don't know if set content can take it. Content value. I don't think I need to wrap that. Path, I guess. Home, downloads, QR code, byte stream. Why did that output like that? Oh, pass through. What? Oh, did I just see a stream parameter? As byte stream. Look at that. Specifies that the content should be read as a stream of bytes. This was introduced in PowerShell 6. Oh, but I have to support Windows PowerShell as well. Can you sense the underwhelming? Okay. As a warning occurs when you use the as byte stream parameter with the encoding parameter. The as byte stream parameter ignores any encoding, right? Yeah, so it should. As the output is returned as a stream of bytes. I'm just going to do it as a test. But I still feel like I need to specify a path, right? Path value as byte stream. Yeah. Path as byte stream. So, hey, look, yeah, it did it. That's cool. That's actually quite nice. It's just a bummer. I have to use .NET stuff. Write byte stream .NET. I think it's just part of the IO stream write byte, file stream write byte. Are there two classes? There's the file stream class, and then there's the, what was the other one? The stream class. I still want to support Windows PowerShell, so I think I need to do this. So I create a new object instance of file stream, where I specify the file name and specify a mode. And then iterate over an array of bytes. This is an example that reads as well, right? The following code example shows how to write data to the fly, then verify that the data was written correctly. Okay, well, that's so I need system dot, was it file stream? What's the namespace again? IO. File stream. Yeah, I need a file, right? A new object instance. So use the constructor, yep. And then the file name, which I'll use as this. I'm not too sure what mode I need though. File access. Initialize a new instance of the file stream class for the specified file handle with the specified read-write permission. A bitwise comparison of the enumeration values that sets the can, read, can, write properties of the file stream objects. How do I use it? So it's just an enum. So I just use read, write. Okay, cool. Can I give it as a string? Cannot convert mode, read, write. No. I have to give it as a file. How do I use it? How do I use it? I don't know how to use it. I don't know, I'm using it wrong. I do know where an example exists. I'm pretty sure I've used it before in some other function I kind of inherited and worked on with Cody. Oh, I thought I saved it here. Right, CM log entry. Pretty sure we use that class. Yeah. Alright. File info. Don't we write? File stream? No. Alright, let's search GitHub. File stream. What's the syntax look like again? File stream, new, all of GitHub, and look at code to be in PowerShell. This is a really neat trick to be able to find example usages of methods, functions, sort of any kind of syntax really. Just in the search bar, you can kind of type in arbitrarily what you're trying to do or use. And you saw me choose all of GitHub, but previously I had the option to look within my repo or user or organization. And then you just click on code, see code examples, and then you can kind of filter out based on language. So I'm looking at PowerShell usage examples. And here I can see people using examples of using the new object syntax, but I'm hoping to find ones like this that uses something else. Oh, file mode. Okay. So file mode. So that's in enum, right? So io.file mode open. Yeah. Create. I think it was read write. Do I have a? It's an enum. There's a way to look at all enum values, right? There is. I'm sure there is. I thought there was. So if I look at the docs then, look at file mode. A bitwise enumeration of the file stream object. See, this is what I don't get about some of the .NET docs. To be fair, I am working with different .NET 6 docs here. I can't imagine it being any different, no. Oh, I can use different types, right? I guess different types of maybe it's a different enum. So there's file mode enum, but there's also the file stream enum. No. Or file access enum. Yeah, there's a file access enum. Can read. I feel like there was a way to get all values, but I can't remember the syntax for it. Can read. Read write. Yeah, read write. Looks like you can pass it different types of enums that kind of still work. Maybe they resolve to the same ID, something like that. But anyway, this one, the docs here specifically talk about it being a file access property, so I'll use that. So file access has the read, write, or write. Yeah, so I'll just use read, write. So that's free. Yeah, that's the indicator. So I won't lose too much sleep about that. Okay. Back to the example. So in order to create new, what's going on? I have to say you are of read write. Oops. Cool, and it creates the file. Now, if I delete the file, can I close that? Yeah, it does. Yeah, cool. Can read, can write. Oh, that's awesome. Just a close method. That's super simple. That's easy. So if I delete the file and rerun that, does it recreate it? No, you have to make it. Can I do it so it makes the file for me? File stream access. File share. Obsolete. Initializing image class specified path. So many different overloads here. There's a creation mode that keeps getting referenced here, and it makes me think I can use an overload which creates it for me. I'm pretty green to .NET, so this takes me a minute. This one seems pretty straightforward. Initializing image and file specify path creation may rewrite permissions buffer size. Really? With just two parameters? What's file mode? Append, create. Ooh. Should create the file. This requires the right permission if the file already exists. Ooh, an exception is thrown. Open or create. Oh, that's interesting. Specifies that the operating system should open a file if it exists, otherwise a new file should be created. If the file is open with file access read permission is required. If the file access is write permission, that's read write, both read write. That seems interesting. So, but there was only this overload only took two though, so I don't think that's the correct overload to use. So which one do I use? file mode and file access. That sounds... Yeah, I think I want file mode and file access. This one. This is pretty straightforward. So I say, hey, open and create it. Open and or create it. Yeah, I think this is it. So string is a relative or absolute path. File mode, let me open up this in a new tab, and then the file access. So the file mode should be open or create. Second position, file mode, open or create, and then read write. Nice, and that should make it. And then if I do it again, throws an error. It's being used by another process. Okay, so if I close it and then recall, nice. If I open it, it's just blank. Yeah, cool. I think I'll use that. What are the other options then? Because there was all kinds of fancy overloads. There was one that was PowerShell, like an integer, boolean. There's loads. Buffer size, synchronous or asynchronous state. Dang, there's a few. I think I'll keep it simple. I'll roll with this for now. Cool. Okay, so why did I do this? I did this so that I could glean from the headers and the response from the web server the content type, which is nice. And I think I did that on like a realization moment while I was building out this sort of idea of, hey, if the user has specified a size, then add to the query string their size. And I can now do the same actually for format as well. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. I'll have to change it to invoke REST method. That's awesome. Yeah, cool. Okay. I like that a lot more. That's a lot more dynamic. What's this? Format. Yeah, absolutely. I can do format now. That's it. Margin. And error correction as well. It's fantastic. Fuck off. Why? Okay, me and my fat fingers. Okay. And then error correction. Cool. Alrighty. Sweet. Yeah, that's excellent. That's so then it is a case of here, invoke REST method, web request. But I now have to do a little bit more handling of create the file, create the file, write to the file, close the file. Might have to do some error handling around that, but in between that I have to kind of make the request to the web server, determine the content type in the header and the response, and then that can be my out file extension. So I need to do that, I think, here. Yeah, I need to do that here, pretty sure. So yeah, I don't know my out file yet. Don't need the content type. Yep. Because response. Do I often use response as the variable? I think result is what I've used previously. Yeah, I'll use result. Cool. Yeah, so from the result then, I then get the data. I might wrap that in an entire try-catch. No? Okay. So I guess content type becomes whatever is in the results headers, right? What did that look like before? It was in here, wasn't it? Was it in the variable X? Pretty sure it was, right? Gotta run out of buffer on my screen here. Was it X? Yeah, it was. And it was headers. Oops. It was content type. Headers.content type. There's a hyphen in there. Might have to put quotes around that. Ooh. Cool. Headers dot content dash type. Ooh. Do I care about the content type in the out file? It's not so much content type, it becomes format, right? But I don't need to do this if the user has given a format. That's the point. I don't need to glean it. I guess that's being nitpicky, right? I guess I could leave that little... So my train of thought is that if the user has given a format, so PNG or SVG, and I make the request to the web server and the response back in the headers is suggesting whether it's one or the other, I don't need to do that process of looking in the headers if the user has given me a format in the parameter of the function. And I could add a clause that's like, well, if the user's given me one, then don't bother reading the header, but like, it's like, why not? It's not like it's another resource call. That data is already here locally because I've already made the call. Actually, if the user has given me a format, I could negate that whole byte stream writing and just literally use out file in the invoke web request. I'm pretty sure invoke web request has out file. Yeah, it does. And that completely simplifies. Yeah. But then I would kind of end up with quite long code, because I would have one path, one tree, one avenue of code where it does that simply, and then I'll have another avenue of code which does the same but more convoluted. So I could just persistently, regardless whether they've given me the format or not, read the header, write as a byte stream. That's cleaner to read, in my opinion. So I think I'll just do that. Okay, so the content type, so this will become format, file type, I guess. If the content type is, I think I can use regex, right? Yeah. PNG or SVG. Well, what's it like if I... Could I just do a replace? So what I'm thinking here is that if what the web server gives me is this string to indicate type, instead of doing this sort of check, hey, if the content type contains PNG, return PNG. If it contains SVG, return SVG. What I'm thinking is like, well, maybe I could just regex match and extract what I need. Like, it'll be simple with the PNG, but I feel like SVG has additional sort of bit after the acronym SVG used. Yeah, see, it's got a plus and XML, but I should be able to extract that still. I should just say, right, well, give me the first 3 characters. Yeah, I could totally do that. Give me the first 3 characters after the /. Yeah, I could do that. Let's do like a substring extraction type thing. So how do I do that? Substring? Well, the good thing is that the starting position of the file type is consistently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is after the 6th character. So I could literally just do kind of, I don't know, is it ugly? Oops, sorry. I could literally say, hey, get me everything from, what's the 5th character here? Oh, what's going on here? Throw it, cast it to a 2-string, I guess. Yeah, here we go. SVG M. It's an array. Fine. So then I do between 6 and 8. But there is a substring, I'm pretty sure, method on a string, not an array. 90% sure. There is starting index and ending index length. So I could literally say substring starting index, I think was like 5, like 6 through to 8, right? Or length is like 3. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so that means my file type is easily, this is awesome, the result in the headers, the content type, and it's the first index in the array, and get me from starting position 6, length of 3. Perfect. That is awesome. Now that only really works until JPEG is added, and I emphasis on PEG, P-E-G. That becomes 4 characters then. So yeah, if I do a stream in a year's time and the developer adds that, that might be janky. Maybe a regex match might actually be better here. HTTP content types. Let's look at all of the possible content types for HTTP. So what we got? So if I just want a simple list. I don't want, here we go, images. Yeah, let's see. We have PNG and SVG, which is great, but what if they add JPEG? Or GIF? regex match might be better. Then I could say, get me everything after the forward slash, and get me everything in between that and the plus, if there is even a plus. Or get me every alphanumeric key, every alphabetic character in between. Yeah, I could do that with regex. That's not too bad actually. So if I had a string of SVG plus XML, I think it was, right? So if I regex, does it match? I'm just going to use the simple match thing for now as an example. So I start with, which one's the starting? I think it says image. Oh, do you know what's easier? If I use regex101.com. Cool. And now, what does this need to be? So image. So I have to escape that. Now, any alphabetical character. What do I need to do? There's some like shorthand stuff I can use. Yeah, this stuff. Any alphanumeric character classes, I guess. I could do a range of like A to Z, I guess. I thought there was cleaner ways, you know, like \D would say match anything that's a digit. Here we go, this is what I want. Any non-white space character, any word character. Yeah, that's what I want, any word character. And I could have multiple. Oh, nice. And I just put that in a matching group, right? Yeah, and then this should match PNG, JPEG. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I might do that. Wonder if there's a better way. Music stopped. Space stream. Yeah, let's do that. Whoa, I've zoom it on my desktop and yeah, there we go. Okay, right, fixed. Cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to use that regex. I think that's way better than a substring search +3, because then if the developer ever adds content type support for JPEG into the service, then that's continues working fine. That's great. Okay, let's do that. Did I put that regex in my clipboard? I think I did. Not. Yeah, cool. Sweet. So there is a way to matches. There is a regex class. I just can't. There's match and there's match is. I can't remember between the two which I want or need. So if you look at the methods, there's match and there's match is. What's the difference here? So match searches an input string for a substring that matches a regular expression pattern and returns the first occurrence as a string match object. Matches search an input string for all occurrences in a regular and returns all matches. I'm happy with match. There's not likely to be multiple matches here, so I do regex matches. What's the first parameter? Searches the input string, so that would be this, and then the next one is search the input string for the first occurrence of the specified expression, which then becomes this. choose regex options. This one is the simplest, I think. This one. Specified the input string for the first character of the expression. So that's pretty much all I need. Now it returns an object. Cool. So if that then became one day PNG. Oh, hang on a minute. X.groups. Cool. Okay. Yep, cool. So then if this then became JPEG, pick up the first group, index 1 of the group, and then SVG. This is the key because it has that funny character. Well, I know it's not HTML, it's XML, but the principle's the same. Cool. That's nice. That's awesome. So instead of doing substring, I think I'll do regex instead. Result.headers regex match the input string content type and then the pattern, which is this, and that is it really, I think. So then I want the first matching group, the second matching group, and then the value. That's awesome. So this should now, I replace that with X. I think I'm in the wrong session here. Yeah, I need to do it in the integrated console. Oh, wait. Yeah, my mistake. Groups. And then the second group. And that should do it. That should give me SVG. Perfect. That's awesome. That's a way better solution. All that effort over just file type. Okay. So I got the file type. Now what? Completely missed what I was doing. So I know the file type. I've invoked request. Got the file type. Guess I could create the file name now, right? I don't really care about the size too much, I don't think. Unless that's in the response as well. No. I don't think it is. Didn't think it would be. It's literally just bytes and data. Unless it's in the headers? Doubt it's in the headers. No. Cool. Alright, sweet. Yeah, so my idea was to remove size from the file name. And then if the file existed, then we would do that if should process sort of interaction, asking them, hey, we're going to overwrite. In fact, I don't even need that. I think I could be able to use the confirm parameter. I'll think about that in a minute, but let me just create this file name real quick. Sync QR code, path, object, shortcode, domain, path, shortcode, domain. I want size, yeah. I want size now. This is the problem. I can imagine someone wanting to save multiple sizes of their QR code. but we can't glean the size of the QR code in the response. And it's not like we can write to disk and then get the file properties to then glean its size. I mean, we could write to a temporary file. I guess we could write to a temporary file, glean its size. It's incredible how much effort is going into this just to remove default values and then try and infer default values from the server instead of the function. I could write to a temporary file. So new temporary file, write to it. Is there a better way? Let's Google. Get file size in HTTP response. Probably doesn't exist. How to get file size from HTTP editors. Well, file size and image size are two different things. I don't want a file size. How to get image size. Image size, image pixel size. JavaScript. No, I'm not running JavaScript. There isn't, and yeah, that makes sense. It's literally just bytes. I don't want to go through the effort of writing to a temporary file, creating a temporary file, writing to it, reading the file properties, and then renaming it and moving it. I don't want to go through that. That makes it a significantly bigger function. But it does preserve that pretty decent user experience. It does provide that decent user experience of them assuming that they will be using what's from the defaults in their website. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. Okay, so I guess the first things first is do this as a test. Don't do it in code just yet, do it as a test. So I guess new temporary file, right? Temp file, new temporary file. What parameters can I give it? None. Temp file, cool. In my response, I have the data as SVG. Let's do PNG because... Oh, do you know what? If it's SVG, it's not a byte stream. It's literally XML. But there is 2 S byte. I don't think I understand how that works. So writing as a byte stream only works if it's PNG. I don't think I can write as a byte stream with raw kind of XML content. I don't think that's how it works. I think the file stream writer stuff literally ingests a byte stream, not encoded data already. So I need to think about this more. This is going this is not going to be as straightforward as it seems. So I definitely want to do that test of what was I going to test? Of writing to a temporary file and gleaning file size, but then I realized that I can write to the file, but again, it depends on the type, and I don't want to have, oh, you know, use this method if it's SVG, or use this method if it's, and all of this just rolls around type. And use this method if it's PNG because it's a byte stream that's given back. Unless invoke web request has something to force it to be a byte stream. No. Yeah, see that? Yeah. Encoding? There's a content. Well, hey, look, I mean, maybe I can still use StreamWriter. Maybe I can still use StreamWriter. I shouldn't discount that. Maybe I still can. I haven't tried. Passing XML content to StreamWriter. For writing characters to a stream. No. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to take a break for it. I've been on here a while now. How long have I been on for? 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to leave this kind of module as a work in progress offline. Maybe I'll come back to it tonight. But yeah, current block is being able to... Why is my music so annoying? The current block that I'm dealing with is being able to allow the user to not pass any parameters like size, margin, and error level and format for their QR code to the server. Let the server reply back with its configured defaults. But then the problem is client side dealing with that, understanding the how the data is returned back from the web server. So if it's PNG, it's byte stream. If it's XML, it's literally as characters, encoded characters. Being able to kind of create the file and determine the file name off the back of that, because in the file name I quite liked size and format type. Obviously I need the format type for file type, but more importantly size in the file name to be able to, you know, kind of allow people to create multiple QR codes on disk quite comfortably without clobbering, you know, kind of to be able to say, hey, give me 100 QR codes of this short code of these different sizes, without, you know, kind of dealing with them overwriting themselves. And yeah, there's a bit of roundabouting I need to do in code of coping with the different types of writing to disk. I mean, it's annoying. I can do it easily with set content in PowerShell core and upwards. I'll for sure be needing to use a .NET if I want to support .5 onwards, which is fine. It's just using a stream writer for already characters already, or using like a byte stream reader and writer for another, and it's like must be a better way. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it on that and probably tackle this another point. My dog's awake and I want to go sit with him because I don't want him to be on his own. He had a little nap. So yeah, thanks for watching. and I don't know when I'll be on. I do want to commit like a schedule to this sort of stuff because it's a good little motivator for me as well. Something else I thought about doing that I haven't really kind of started yet is kind of like one day of the week during lunchtimes, start like a community kind of troubleshooting dedicated block hour. So the idea would be I'd go to Stack Overflow, search on PowerShell, go on the PowerShell Discord or the subreddit, and just answer questions while streaming. Just kind of help people fix bits of their code, kind of troubleshoot things with people while on the stream. I thought that'd be quite a nice idea to do. Quite a cool thing to kind of help people, kind of share that learning process together, and something to do while streaming. I don't know, we'll see, but yeah. Hopefully I can get this nailed out. Not too sure what I'll share on the next stream. Maybe Shlink. There's definitely other modules I want to implement my new build pipeline module into. There's other projects I have that I kind of want to add fixes to, new features, and definitely just kind of develop more. I can think of 3 in my mind. So I've got lots of things I want to do. Next week I have a meeting with one of the guys who actively writes code for Automated Lab, and I have a bunch of custom roles written for Automated Lab that build SCCM servers, that builds like an SCCM lab, and I'm meeting with one of them next week, Jan Hendrik, next week, to kind of learn how to implement what I've done, but as a native role. So I've got all this cool stuff that I want to do, that I want to share, and I want to stream doing. Just trying to find time, right? But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Not sure when I'll be on next. Hopefully soon. Cheers.